guys, it's April. And in March, I somehow read 11 books. Well, a combination of books, novellas, and audiobooks. But it counts. They're books. They're all the same. So I'm going to give you my March wrap-up of all of the wonderful and maybe not so wonderful books that I read. And here we go. To start out March, I finally finished the Silo series by Hugh Howey. And I'm not going to go on about that wonderful series here because I've done that plenty and I'm sure you guys are completely tired of it. So if you want to know my thoughts on this series, I will link down below in the thingamajig my full review over the whole series. But I highly recommend this series. I fell in love. Hugh Howey is amazing. And I got my dad to read it. He downloaded the ebook and is now on his way on an airplane reading the book. I have accomplished something in my life. Yeah. After that, I read The Bargaining by Carly Ann West. This book, I liked it. What can I say about this book? This was a nice, creepy, eerie book that went wonderful with any kind of rainstorm audio sounds that you had. It made this wonderful ambiance, this wonderful sound, and I enjoyed it. And so that's what I did. I put the headphones in and I creeped myself out. And I liked it. So this book is about a girl named Penny whose parents are divorced and she feels like she's shuffled back and forth between them and doesn't really have a place, especially after her kind of sort of best only friend was killed back where she came from. And she moves back in with her dad and then she has to spend the summer with her stepmom renovating a house that ends up being not so homey. And I really liked this book because A, it was creepy, and B, because there was an April in it, and we all know that if there's an April in a book, April's gonna like it. So if you like to creep yourself out, even though it could have been creepier, but I still liked it, pick up this book. It's good. Then I read The Night Dance by Susan Wayne. This is a fairy tale retelling of the Dancing Princesses, and it was okay. The instant lovey stuff, which is typical of a lot of fairy tale retelling, so that happens here. And it was an enjoyable read. It was a quick read, and it wasn't anything spectacular. It's one of those books that you just pick up to make yourself feel better for a couple hours. So yeah. On the theme of the Once Upon a Time series, I read The Sunlight and Shadow by Cameron Doxey. This is the retelling of the Magic Flute, which is not one I am very familiar with. This was a ballet musical thing by Mozart, and I didn't know the storyline going into it. And I didn't enjoy it as much as I probably could have if I had known the storyline. It was a little weird for me. But once again, if you need just a light, quick read, this would be it. Yeah, it's just basically taking the mythology of creation of the day and night and giving them a daughter, and then the daughter just brings about a change in the world. Typical stuff. Yeah, things that happen every day. Ha! I bet you can't guess where this one came from. The Wild Orchid by Cameron Doxey. Yet another one of the fairy tale retelling Once Upon a Time series. And this one, once again, is from Cameron Doxey. This one, what do I say about this one? This one, of course, is a retelling of Mulan. And I really, really like this one because she just developed Mulan's home life before she decided to pretend to be a boy and join the king's army to help save China. And I really like how that storyline developed, and I wish there was that same kind of development after she went into the army and met the prince and of course fell in love and all that kind of stuff and saved China. But it was still good. I liked it. I like Cameron Doxey's writing, so yeah, that was that one. I finally got off my butt and read Howl's Moving Castle by Diane Wayne Jones, and I fell in love. Just the way she takes bits and pieces of how we tell stories and mythologies and the elements we put in there, and then she puts it all in there in this weird, whimsical fashion that, I liked it. The whole time I was reading it, I was imagining the movie adaptation, which I saw first, and they kind of correlate. There's some things that of course are different, but I was picturing them the whole way through, and it was good. Some of the writing didn't seem as developed for me, but the story I loved, and if you're just looking for something whimsical and a little bit nonsensical, this is it. Howl's Moving Castle. I've heard mixed reviews on the continuation of the series, but I might just pick it up because I want to know. It's good. So I like to creep myself out. So I pick up a lot of the eerie, spooktacular, thrillery, horror kind of books. So when I found The Spook Show by Tim McGregor for free on Amazon, I of course had to pick it up. And it was good. It's kind of the typical horror storyline, you know. You find an old house, bad, gory things start to happen, and you must vanquish the evil or figure out what's going on. And that's okay. It's a little too typical for me, for my enjoyment. I just picking up this book, I felt like I was dropped into the middle of a series rather than the beginning of a series, because they kept on talking about all this backstory that you didn't know, and then you kind of got glimpses of, but not really, and that kind of drove me a little nuts, which might have pulled away from the storyline. I enjoyed it. That's pretty much it. I just enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was okay. But after reading that, I picked up one of his short stories, The Ghost Dog, and that one got me. So you've got this, you know, full-length story, and then you've got this little short story, and the short story is the one that got me. Of course, it's about a ghost dog, and these two boys who witness the death of this dog, and the eerie things that happen afterwards. And I may have teared up a little bit, and then I may have gotten a little creeped out. So it had the full range of emotions that a good horror story should have. So Tim McGregor totally redeemed himself with his short story. And finally, one of my friends got married this past weekend, and it was a ways away, so me and my roommate decided to listen to some audiobooks. And the audiobooks that was chosen was The Chronicles of Narnia. We managed to get through not only The Magician's Nephew, but also The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And they're good. I don't even know what to say. I just like C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia, so they're always a go-to for me. I grew up on them. My childhood remembers. These were one of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was one of the first children's plays that my parents ever took me to. So these stories have always got a place in my heart. So I can't really, you know, like, review or judge these stories because it's like reviewing and judging my life. So that was my March book wrap-up thing. Someday I'm going to be more elegant about these videos, but today is not that day. If you read any of these books, tell me your opinions on them. Like always, I want to know. Also, let me know what you read in March, because I'm always adding to my TBR that's constantly in flux, and I like new books. Let me know. Heart your beautiful faces. Bye! Now, value. I'm just gonna, pause here as if the video has paused.
Leslie,
What?
what am I doing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay.
I'm slowly getting shorter and shorter and shorter.